We have Ousman Sow here from Blacktag. We have president, co-founder, chief content officer. And I'm sure you got a bunch of other jobs that nobody can see behind the scenes too. When it comes to something like this, there's always
Yeah,
like five different things, but they just call it two. But yeah, man, how are you? How you doing, man?
I'm I'm good, man. I'm blessed, bro. I'm blessed, man. I feel alive. I feel energized. I feel purposeful, you know. Yeah, man. I think you've seen that movie called Limitless.
No, I haven't seen, but I know the synopsis though.
Yeah, yeah, he takes the pill and the dude is just like he just sees and understands everything. I honestly feel uh I I don't know, man. I just feel like everything is alignment and everything just kind of is starting to make sense for me, you know? Like it's already made sense for me a while back, but now it's like, picture clear, like picture perfect almost, like HD, extra HD.
So what are you saying, man? Tell me about it. You're getting me excited. Come on, you really getting me excited about it. Tell me more. What
Yeah,
are you
man, I
seeing?
think I think it's just clarity on just purpose, man. You know, what you're supposed to do, the manifestations that you have that's buried within your subconscious, right? That you try to flush out all the things that of every, situation or job or opportunity that you've had that like you're not sure, yo, why am I in this moment? Like, why is this happening? Like that moment needed to happen for me to be here. And so now I feel like the experiences that I've had, the things that have taught me, it's all really led to this moment where it feels like for me personally, now I can like now go back in those moments and use them as experiences or rather tools, to make the next step that's necessary, for me. So I think it's really like the bird's eye view in terms of, okay, this is the roadmap, this is the journey. I understand the purpose, and I see where I'm trying to take this. Now I just need to bring on all the tools and the right individuals to help me get there.
That's just fire, bro. Like that's exactly what I believed. Last year was about. Like it was. I was. Going into it, everybody was saying it was supposed to be a year of clarity, and it really
Yeah.
became that. I believe, and just to see the way that what you just said, how you started. That's just the energy I'm getting from so many people. It's like they finally know where they are. They know their why, not just the what. Hey, I'm doing this thing over here. No, I know why I want to do it. I know what I want to do, and I got the energy to do it. And just hearing that, that's just how we got to start,
Yeah.
man. So tell me about Black Tag, because I know that's the why and the what.
It definitely starts with the why and it starts with the what. But more intentionally, man, I think the why really is it begins with me. It begins with me meeting, um, you know, me trying to understand, what's my calling, what's my natural calling, right? But Black Tag essentially is a representation of uh, media, is a representation of technology, is a representation of folks that don't have the opportunity to express themselves uh, the most efficient and the most authentic way possible. I think we've all had moments where we're on Netflix or other platforms, or just understanding our culture and saying, yo, we set a lot of the trends, and we move a lot of mainstream culture, but position wise, we don't own any of it, right? Or if someone owns it, you know, who is part of the culture, maybe it's very limited, right? And so really for me, Black Tag was the way to redistribute capital in a way where the people that are pushing the culture forward can kind of be part of that economic solution, right? In a nutshell, Black Tag is the first creator-driven platform that's offering both live and on-demand content. So from a technical understanding, Black Tag is both a Netflix and a YouTube combined. The reason why we combine those two things is because this idea of creators allowing us to determine what good content is the future of creativity and future of content consumption. And so bridging in the gap where you can bring on creators, put them into a profile, into a platform, help curate those creators and help position them so that they can, be part of that dollar and then be part of that equity is very, very important. But also advertisers need to understand where those creators are and they need to understand that destination of where to find them. And on the other side of that, and the other component is bringing in that Netflix component where it's a streaming platform, it's on demand. You can go on here to watch movies, short form, long form, documentary. music videos, just inspiring work that, members in the community are creating, but, there's no access to see it because it's on, majority, massive platforms that it takes too much time to shift through to find the right creator or the right person that specifically is for your audience or for your community. And so currently, we're essentially a global solution to a variety of problems in both entertainment and marketing industries. Um, Currently, there is no modern or unified platform that is successfully celebrating creators and bringing brands and audiences together specifically around Black alternative content, right? And so this idea of Black alternative content and, like, Black creativity for the future is really important because on one side, in terms of like, or just to take a step back, Black content in general is defined in most people's eyes, it comes off as a monolith, and I think that as Black people, as Africans, as people of the diaspora, we're very nuanced in many, different ways, from our food, from our culture, from the stories that we tell. And so grouping Black content in a monolithic tone is very, disappointing, right? So we wanted to break that, that tone and bring something to the future or to the mainstream that really has a different taste, that has a different level of authenticity, that is not conventional, to certain Black platforms today, and that's not focusing on more of the hip hop culture, but more so focusing on its own lane by focusing on alternative creators, niche Black audiences that are currently massively underserved by campaigns and even content being distributed to them.
So that's the vision that you see, obviously, right? So again,
Absolutely.
so that is the what?
One of the vision.
What are the vision? Oh, you got more. Damn, keep giving me. Keep
Yeah.
giving it. I mean, whatever else you see, let me know. What else are you seeing then? I mean, we can get back to that in more detail. But what else are you seeing then? If that's one of the
I
vision.
mean, yeah, I mean, I think that's like a larger part of the vision, but that's the core, vision that's driving currently. I mean, I think a place where, you know, I think, my co-founder always says this, right? In the future, he hoped that our children don't have to go out there and build another Black tag, that it's already a standard that Black people creating and dominating in ways that we have in music and sports, where we can start dominating and creating in ways that untraditionally that we don't often see ourselves, right? Whether in technology, whether in media, whether, whatever that space may be, because there's just so much energy that we carry, and there's so many, like, people that have set and defined trends for us and really opened up doors for us. But now we got to use those tools and really go out there and really build things that are going to change generational wealth. Um, and so that's, Blacktag is tapped into the longer vision, the shorter vision, but it's the beginning for that. So I can help extrapolate to the many things that I want to also do, which is have a platform that can then be a distributor, right? So that you don't have to just go to HBO to access films that you think is quality, but you can go to Blacktag and work with studios, and studios can use Blacktag as a distributor to host their Coming to America too,
Yeah.
or, or whatever is like currently in like in the vibe at that moment.
Yeah. So I gotta ask, like, I mean, I can see the energy, I can see the passion, and I know you guys been grinding this for not just this year, but probably a couple of years. I think I was looking like maybe since 2018. Who knows? Maybe even before. So what were you guys seeing? What were you guys feeling? What was like the genesis of it? Like, what was the frustration that has led you both to this point? I mean, it may be obvious,
Yeah,
but I
I
still want to
mean,
hear it.
yeah, yeah, no, great question, Cleon. I mean, for me, I've always worked as an image maker, whether, from a photographer to a director to a cinematographer. I've always had my nuances. Is like, yo, I'm just gonna create images for people, whether it's part of storytelling, right? My co-founder, however, he has a background between, creative direction, software engineering. So he's always really intimately been focused around and understanding the power that just like Black people have, and like grouping that together and like shipping that as a product. His first company was OX, which was very much that sentiment. When I came involved and when we, put our heads together, it was taking that idea of like that commerce of people, right? Just commerce as Black people, and tying in something that's a bit more, refined. That's, my background brings in the media aspect of things, the advertising aspect of things, and then being able to sell that to a massive group of people that really are into that, that type of activity and that type of culture. But we've always been You know, I've always been very unconventional. I never really had a job. I've always had, you know, been a freelancer. Um, I tried to have a job. It just didn't really end up working out because just who my energy is. I just think I have a very loud energy about myself in terms of like the things that I want and the things I want to manifest. And so, you know, maybe it was too lofty, or, you know, people felt that in working environments, or even if it's corporate, corporate structures. Uh, and so, but, I think this idea of moving on your own speed, um, and seeing the things that qualify you as a person, that the things that you really want. Um, I've always moved off of, I want to create my own table versus trying to even have a sit at the table. Yeah, I want to be in the room and like understand what's happening in that room and take some of those like nuances, but take that and go build my own table. That's always been my like my energy.
You know, Josh is 100% right when he was like, "Yo, you two would really get along." Because I'm always like, I don't want to see. I want a whole table. I want a whole house. I want the block. I want the neighborhood. I want the city. You know, like I don't want a table. You know, a seat at your table. It's a beautiful concept, and I understand where it comes from. But it's like you're still at someone's house. You're still in someone's space rather than having your own space where you can invite them into. And you're always going to be playing a child's role rather than an adult's role in that sort of environment. You know, you want to be the person that generates, the revenue, not shares in it. You know, you need to be at a higher
Yeah.
position, sort of like that funnel, in my opinion. But okay,
Yeah,
so
man. It's just breaking the chains, right? It's just like dismantling that notion that we like we can actually go out there and build structures and build opportunities for ourselves that really is us and for us and by us, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong or anyone's trying to be divisive to anything or
no,
anyone.
no,
You just
absolutely not.
understand the power that we have as people. Yeah.
Absolutely. What was it? What was a quote that you guys saw that I liked? It was about, it's less about separation, it's more about celebration. You know what I mean? I think,
Yeah,
when you
man.
guys just said that in
Absolutely.
an article that I read, and I was like, that's exactly it. It's not about, you guys aren't invited. It's just more or less like, we're here celebrating what we do. We're celebrating blackness. We're celebrating black art and creatives. And, you can obviously come in because black is universal, just like white is universal in a certain sense. If I can watch a white James
Yeah.
Bond and feel like I'm there and I'm in a movie, why can't you watch a black James Bond or the black equivalent of that and feel like you're that person as well? It's the same
Yeah.
exact thing. Humans doing human things. We just have some little darker hue to us, or what I completely understand it. So so what I got from that, you guys saw a vacancy in the market space. You saw that black creators weren't being properly compensated for for their art essentially, and the things that they were creating. I even saw the new film that you guys put out. Black art is, what is it? Black art is black wealth. Black art is black money. And just showing the genesis, and for a very long time, of like all these black creative talents, all these black creative vibes, all these black creative things that were made, and artists, and just not being compensated for everything that was then commodified, occupied, and then taken and mainstreamed. And we're always on the outside looking in of the
Absolutely.
wealth that we built, as if like the culture has no value
Yes.
in and of itself. You create a dance, that dance becomes the number one thing on TikTok. Someone else becomes a millionaire at 16 years old copying your dance, and you're at the crib like,
Yes.
what up? Like, I mean,
What
I didn't
what
invent
up?
the thing that you're making money off. How is it not coming back to me first? And you taking a cut of what I get. So that's why I love the platform that you guys are building from jump. It's like, no, you're going to own yourself from jump. Anything that someone else makes, you're
Yes.
going to be getting a kickback to.
Yes.
I hear in your voice that that's a big part of the genesis, a big part of the genesis, that level of ownership of our stories, ownership over our bodies, and ownership over our art. And just the fact that you guys are spearheading this with this level of power that you have behind you, oh, the success I can see. The success I can see. I see why you came on the call with the vision. I see why you came on the call with the vision, because you got the energy to do it. Because I understand these sort of structures, the Netflix of the world and others, they're not going to be as open and is happy to see
No.
their little tag on their screen that says like black strong black lead be taken to the
Yes.
entire
Yes.
platform. I don't want a tag.
Yeah.
I want the whole
Absolutely.
fucking platform.
No.
Period.
I
And
want the
that's
whole
what you
thing.
guys are
Yeah.
doing. The whole thing. The whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
Absolutely,
don't.
brother. You get
No,
it.
no. I'm right here with you, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't want a
Yeah.
month. I don't want a day.
I don't want to be your I don't want to be your marketing initiative for like a month exactly, or for even like a
Exactly.
campaign that speaks about us as people. Like, nah, bro. I mean, you totally get it. Totally get it. Absolutely.
Exactly. Now we're too aligned. I feel like I don't even ask. I don't need to ask any questions. So, but yeah, man. I mean, we can jump into something else. Out of everything that you got, you sent me something recently. It was the 404 campaign, and it was showing Atlanta,
Yeah.
and it was basically just going around the neighborhood, essentially saying that people coming to Atlanta, gentrifying the space, you know, They need to make sure that they're like showcasing the talent there, the art there, the people there that have been here forever. You can't just come in and bring your whatever. I'm coming from New York. I moved to Atlanta. I don't want to make Atlanta New York by association. I need to big up Atlanta, shine a light on that. So like, what's the energy or the vibe or in any way that Atlanta plays into the bigger like Blacktag vision?
Oh man, Atlanta is really the origin. I mean, really Africa is the origin. Sierra Leone is the origin for me in terms of like my upbringing and some of the things that I saw and just my story of survival. But Atlanta played a crucial part in understanding community and creative community and like understanding what that creative community has in terms of currency, right? And like really identifying as something that's authentic. Atlanta is such a unique place, man, because it's less about if you find the right spots. Most cities have like the spots where it's flashy and everybody's trying to be like, you see me, hear me. But Atlanta has some real sentiments where if you go in the right neighborhood, you go into Edgewood, you go into Old Fourth Ward, like before Edgewood became what it is today, very commercialized. All of the places that used to be super cool, where like the unconventional people would go, not the new hipsters, but the old hipsters, you know what I'm saying? The people that just didn't care because they were just expressing themselves as artists. For me, I was able to see how amazing that inspired people and even businesses to want to be attracted to that type of community and then go and open up shops in there. It was all the underlying belly in terms of like, this is the spark, this is the engine, right? And so I saw a close hand with my friends, people like Dang, who came up in Atlanta, who else? Like people like Bosco, who, just like these true, genuine, authentic creatives who are not necessarily moving off of the speed of like, see me, hear me, and I'm moving, I'm shaking, I'm doing this, but they were just creating art because this is their DNA and they're just artists. And so, seeing that subculture and seeing how that played an effect in the general market made me understand the power of just like, there's something unique around just like authentic creators, right? And like building them together and getting them to come together inside of a certain thing, whether it's a restaurant or a house or a party or a program or an initiative. There's something that becomes very amazing. It's like almost like spiritual, right? It becomes bigger than what we can even understand. And so that was really the origin of understanding like Black creatives coming together and building something together inside of one thing and being and selling that idea because it's so authentically it sells itself almost, right? Mm-hmm. I saw that. I was like, okay, Black creativity needs to be exposed to the world in the most authentic way. So even when I went on to like some of the big tech companies, I was working for Google at the time. I was always trying to push like subculture creators, right? Or trying to find like the Black art directors, the Black copywriters who just didn't do it, like they weren't a copywriter because, for the job or trying to get a bread, but they, because they were really into writing and they wrote on a certain type of nuance from their DNA as a creative. Mm-hmm. That was what I was really into, right? And so even when Blacktag came to be, even when I was at Google, or a version of Blacktag in my head until I met Akeem, it was around finding creators that don't necessarily sell themselves on LinkedIn, don't necessarily like you can't really find them on the internet because they're just in the knee deep of the creativity of their work. And if you can get those folks to work with you, whether if it's a brand campaign or some sort of initiative, that DNA of realness and authenticity is much more expansive than anything some 5-year, 10-year veteran creator copywriter could come up with, right? Exactly. Because that's what impacts culture at large. Exactly. Because they're actually every day and they're involved in it.
These people, what I keep finding every time I think about the corporate world, I don't know what you want to call it. It's just like these people fundamentally lack vision. They're so formulaic that they don't realize that the new formula is what you should be looking for, not going back to the old formula just because it's safe. They fundamentally lack vision. Okay. They don't even know how to take a risk. It's like everyone's so concerned about keeping their job and not upsetting whatever apple cart that they think that they're on. They won't realize that, the person that needs to be, like you're saying, the copywriter needs to have got a 4-year degree from Columbia in English and such and such and such and knows how to craft it this way rather than saying, if you're trying to appeal to culture, it makes no more sense than saying that person that's actually within the culture, that knows the environment, that knows the neighborhood, that knows the salsa of the street, that's been up and down that block to talk about that block. You can't, It's like, it's so obvious to people who see it. It's like,
Yeah.
how can't y'all not see it? Y'all have all the money in the world to make this pop off, but you won't just take a simple risk of just saying like, this dude is a writer. This dude can craft a story. He's a poet. He's a rapper. He knows his neighborhood better than anybody. How the hell is somebody in California going to tell me what Atlanta feels like? What New York feels like? Like, when you guys are you never left your house. You know what I mean? Like, it's shocking to me, but I understand why. Because someone sees numbers on the board, they put together an Excel document, they put a salary on it and a budget, and they map it all out, and they just pick from the pool that they can see. Not realizing like you in that position would probably know better. Let's just risk it. It's not even a fraction of the marketing budget. Let's see what happens. But yet they're cool to put up a banner on a website when something bad happens, or when it's Black History Month. It's so misguided. It's so obvious.
Yeah. Or a hashtag, we see you, we all that. Yeah, man, it perpetuated itself for sure, man. I think advertising agency, I think the whole advertising industry, I'm not trying to be divisive here, but I think it goes back to your sentiments, man. I think the lack of opportunity that there is within those companies, and the reason why they're constantly struggling for inclusion, or even constantly having issues with a campaign where it's like the strongest monkey in the jungle, or something like that H&M did, right? Or the Pepsi campaign that was just like really bad, is because the people who should be in those positions to tell those stories are not in those positions and don't have those opportunities to get to these companies, right? Because the mandate is not an initiative within those companies. It only becomes a mandate when there's a reaction to like a horrible campaign that was missed, right? But how did that horrible campaign it takes several months to think about an idea in a massive corporate company for it to get to the audience, right? In terms of mainstream, it takes a long time.
And it's a lot of yeses.
It's a lot of yeses. And so like, you mean to tell me not one person is in there who's like looking at this and like, yo, this is not the move?
No.
It's because we don't have people like, who can see that that's not the move working within those companies.
Or if they are, they're not given a true voice to be able to speak.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
They're just at the table because they're just looking for a seat at the table. You gave somebody a seat at the table, you make a marketing campaign about it, you put out a press release, oh, that person has a seat at the table, but they don't have power and say at the table. It's just like, it becomes so hollow, it becomes so transparent that I don't understand how much longer they can keep doing it. A true person that's for diversity, for investment, you never have to say it because we can see it. And it's like, it's not something that you do in a marketing campaign. You don't need to make a commercial about your diversity, because you know what I would know? I would be able to see it in the work that you do. I'd be able to see it in your employees. I'd be able to see it on your board, and I'd be able to see it in the products that you create and how you execute. Like, so forget the campaign, just execute, just do it genuinely. And if you don't believe it, I'd rather you be like, no, that's not me. I don't truly believe it. And that's what it is. Like the conversations I hear from people that I know are in the creative industry, whether it's my friends that are photographers, videographers, models, et cetera, and the conversation that they have with these people at these companies that I see who are doing certain types of commercials and getting certain type of press are hilarious to me. I know the people that work here. I hear the conversation that these people are having. This little message that y'all put out is not consistent with the purple people that you got at your executive board level. So why even do it? It's marketing. It's an ad. It's cute. Call me next month when it's not hype. Call me next month when the Q rating is low. Call me next month when there's no money to be made. These are all ad campaigns. I just hope that we finally got to a point where we see through it. You can kneel, but you can't take cloth. I just want to see the legislation. You can do a marketing campaign. Just hire some folks and get them power and real say and real sweat. The amount of money that these people are unwilling to risk compared to the amount of money that generating revenues are laughable to me. It's like, how could you be pulling in billions and not be willing to take a risk on 100,000?
Right. Absolutely.
It's like, and then you want me to believe that your products are for me, that you're here for the street, that you're here for the people, that you're down with the cause, that it's just like, let's just stop it. So like Blacktag, everybody watch. You know what I mean? Buy, subscribe, invest, create, like do whatever you have to do, because this is a genuine, like everything that you're saying is exactly what I would want from a streaming service that's supposed to be like supporting Black art and showing Black art genuinely and creatively. And every single thing I've read, and I've been reading for weeks, and trust me, I was sending DMs to a kid. I was talking to Josh. I was talking to friends about it. Anthony Prince, and like, what do you really think? What you really think? And it's all consistent from your messaging, from the conversations with people behind the scenes, and how you guys and the things that you choose to create. You didn't say I want to do such and such and such. Look at the first thing that you released. Black art is Black money. It's not like you said all that stuff, put out all the press release, got all the funding, and then came out with, here's my such and such product ad or whatever. Like, that would be inconsistent with the message. Execution, the things that you're investing in and things that you're producing are extremely consistent with what I would expect from what you've said. And I'm just proud of that. I'm happy to see that. and I just
Oh
appreciate
man,
that. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it, man. I really
thank you so
genuinely
much,
do.
man.
I really
Thank you
genuinely
so
do.
much.
Because my
It means a
bullshit
lot,
radar is
man.
always going off, and you guys, it always comes back pure to me. It always comes
Oh
back pure.
man, that means so much, Cleon. Thank you so much, man. We spend a lot of time, Akeem and I, and now our team together that we've built here at Black Tag, to constantly making sure that that we're being real, that we're telling the right stories, that we're making sure that we're building a platform that's about honesty, man. And we need to completely rip the band-aid off, man, and not try to like play this kumbaya like we marketing, advertising, that like the nuances that have like sort of developed. Even when folks are trying to work with us in terms of partners, we're very and there's a lot of people excited about what we're doing. A lot of partnerships are happening, but we're very I guess what's the right word I'm looking for, like skeptical, like making sure that you're not using us as a means to an end, in terms of like, yo, these guys are going to solve our solution, because we don't understand. you know that I'm very wary of that all the time, man. I think we're just trying to be honest, and completely not shove the rug underneath the problems or on top of the problems. That first initial campaign, Black Artists Black Money, is especially, we had to start off that way. We had to talk about and address the issues and say, yo, we understand the problem, and we wanted to let brands and advertisers know this is not a long lost thing that we've forgotten about. We understand our power, and we understand things that have happened, and the things that you guys have completely taken away from us, that we've developed but never gotten empowered for, made money from. And so starting off as that type of narrative, and then expanding on what else to come is the right way to start, for us at least.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't even know about your revenue models and anything else like that, but I can assume
Uh,
the way that you guys are building is going to be beautiful. Like I've seen so many
yeah,
interesting new models in this like sharing economy that we're a part of. Even recently, just when I was looking into some NFTs and I was looking at Nifty Gateway, and I just love the way they do it. So their model is basically like, okay, you build something, you're an artist, forget about the pricing and the potential of whatever anything is valued at, but they have a model where it's, you're an artist, you build something, your initial sale, it gets somebody, you generate money, obviously, and then those that have your product, and if they resell, you still get money from the resales. I was like, oh, that's kind of novel. So there can't be any true resale culture in that sort of way. And I was
yeah.
wondering, how would you adapt something like that where, I guess, media in and of itself has, some sort of idea of like royalties throughout, so it really isn't relevant. But I really thought that was a beautiful concept of just like at every stage of the sales process, at every sale that's happened, there's a way to track who owns this, who originated it, who built it, and at every sale, that person who originally created the asset always gets a piece of the transaction. It could be 1%, 2%, 3%, but throughout the life cycle of this product and its sales, you always get kicked back to the person that originally created it. And I see other people trying to do, was it what I recently see, Square and Tidal partnership, and whatever they plan on doing with the whole banking and loan system. Maybe
Yeah.
record labels may have some issues and a problem with how they've been treating some of these artists, but at the end of the day, the models of the future are going to be models where there's more sharing, where those that create, they get their 50% or their 25% or even their 10%. It doesn't really matter, but I just think I'm just becoming really excited and seeing that sort of build for equity in everybody. Because the idea of not owning assets in the future is going to be a failed concept. And as things progress, I'm particularly concerned that black people, and I'm glad I'm seeing more of it, black folks aren't, and black and brown folks and people across the diaspora, we just need to have assets. We need to have ownership. We need to make sure that whatever we're building, there's some sort of leverage model where we can into the future keep seeing residual income or passive income or more investment from the things that we're doing. And how would you guys, or do you guys at this point have a structure to the way you guys are going about building the revenue out, or how you guys are actually giving back to the artists? How does that work?
Man, you're hitting on so many points that is so important, first and foremost. So I just want to commend you on asking these questions. Look, disrupting for the future, the way things are going, and what the market is telling us, this idea of like ownership is really important, but not only ownership, but being paid for your IP is incredibly important, right? Any platform that's not doing that, or that's not moving towards that trend, you might as well close up shop and be Blockbuster, right? Like, it's an interesting thing why Square just recently purchased Tidal, right? For 300, close to $300 million. It's because this idea and this notion of artists combining and figuring out some software around fintech, and giving opportunity to those creators who are creating their own IP to leverage and build and empower themselves within, you know, capital is really, really important. The way we've looked at that, you know, and I can't speak too much about our economics until we launch, but I can talk about one version of our economics where it's actually bringing in the audience to be informed and engaged and giving them capital to then re-engage into the platform. For instance, when as a user, if you're on these platforms such as an Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you're paying that platform. You're, you know, not in terms of currency, but you're paying it with your data, right? The amount of time that you spend on these platforms are taking your data and collecting it, which is like, that's currency. So we looked at that and said, what's a strategy that we can break completely and allow the users, because they're, you know, fundamentally growing our platform, how can we incentivize them to come to our platform, to spend time, to help build and help monetize the creators on the platform? Here's an idea. You know, so we, you know, built out an algorithm called user watch frequency that calculates the amount of time I as a user spend on Blacktag. Throughout the end of the year, in terms of Blacktag revenue, we take that allocation, a portion of that allocation, and that goes back into the user's account. And then now you're incentivized to actually like you actually have money in your account to then go back and subscribe to that channel, go back to, you know, subscribe to that, you know, creator profile, go back to subscribe to that Black business. So creating that sustainable cycle about economics, man. So we think about that constantly, bro. And I'm so glad that you're touching on
You're
that.
making me smile, B. You're making me smile. This is genius. I love it. I wish I was there during the seed round. Here's my. I'm not even lying. Like, yo, here's my. I got $10,000. What can I get? I know that's not an accredited investor. But next time y'all doing something, let me know. I'll put whatever I can.
And here's the thing. Here's the magic sauce at that. These massive platforms understand that. I'm not trying to build a platform that's going to be competing against Facebook and Instagram. That's just like these platforms are way too massive. It's actually scary to build a platform that massive, right? Yeah. Social media, it's a very scary and volatile platform because it's all about, it has a lot of nuances that keeps it conflict. We're an entertainment platform, but we're specifically leveraging social interaction and social components, right? So we're building and incentivizing, you know, revenue, you know, just like revenue streams, product integrations, ways like, you know, creators can make, you know, authentic revenue from like just their art. You know, we're thinking about these things and we're making sure that we're incentivizing and building the platform to just be entertained, but also while you're entertaining, you're helping building the value and the economic value of that creator whose content that you love so much. There's a reason why YouTube's revenue split is 55, 45, right? YouTube takes 55, creator takes 45. We're giving 75 and we're going to take 25, right? That's a huge gap.
I see you on your roadblocks. I see. But it makes sense because the more you give back, the more you build a community, then you create that network effect. If someone knows I'm getting 75% here and 50% over there, where would they come? So you siphon up that user from potentially, you know, posting on YouTube to coming to you because they know to get a bigger cut. Genius. I mean, just really, really brilliant. I'm so excited. I'm actually more excited than what I was before when I heard about it, man. Tell me some more stuff. Tell me some things I'm not going to even think to ask. I got like 10 minutes that you left. I just tell me what you're the most excited about that I probably wouldn't know to ask you.
Yeah.
But you can share.
We have some. Yeah. So we're speaking to a bunch of launch partners right now. Our product launches in May. Hopefully we can meet that deadline because it's just so ambitious in terms of what we're about to roll out. So our launch partners are really, really amazing. Can't go, you know, deeply into who they are, but they live in various sectors and they're all extremely excited to just collaborate and present things to the audience and let us lead the charge. Let us tell the truth and let us like create that adoption and that storytelling, which is really beautiful. So something else I'm really excited about is you know, giving a space for independent filmmakers and production companies who want to reach the spectrum of Black audiences in the right way and realize, yo, here's another alternative, right? This is an alternative that speaks to a global audience. Africa is really, really important to us. Black Brazil is really, really important to us. Black Europe is really, really important to us. And what music has done is be able to connect all of those nuances together, right? Because of music, because it's just faster that way. But in terms of content has not been submerged and connected yet globally. It's still very much disconnected. I would love to see a True Detective but based in Nigeria or a True Detective based in Brazil, right? I'd love to see these kind of stories evolve outside of this monolithic realm. So I can tell you to look forward to some like really, really powerful content that we're getting ready to release. Strong, strong partnerships from the space. And I would hope that people come to Blacktag to, you know, to be excited and to, you know, to finally take a deep breath. Like, okay, here's something that exists that actually speaks to my like subconsciousness in terms of the type of content that I've been hearing, my ancestor stories, you know, making sure that that is like fundamentally the core of like some of the stuff that we're sharing out there. These emerging creators, giving them a platform to be able to fully express themselves. People like you, right? As a writer, as a graphic designer, you know, you're not like a one subset of a person. You're very dimensional and multi-layered. So being able to have a platform that speaks to your multi-layered, right? Where if you want to put up a movie or a short film or an expose or a blog or an experiment, this is the platform to do that. It's not just content. So yeah, man, I said a lot of things and it's super long-winded, but
No. I completely get what you're saying. It's very clear. It was very clear. I'm literally at this point where I'm saying, when I say to myself, there's probably people getting so excited from listening to this once this is posted. Like, what do you guys look for? And because I know you guys are hiring, so we got to put it out there. What are you guys looking for in your team, the people that you're working with?
man, intention, man. Intention is really important around what we're doing. Because we're at a startup right now, you know, it takes a team of excellent players and folks that have true intention and grit to really you know, be an asset to the team and not just like a helping hand. I don't want to hire a helping hand. Truly, you know, just being honest and transparent on this, right? I want to hire someone. I throw the ball at you and you can go and look away and do what you need to do, right? And so, you know, we want to bring people onto the team that understand the sentiments of what the platform is trying to do, right? The vision, the overall vision, but also can use that energy and motivate themselves to go and actually solve real world issues and real problems, because these are real problems that we're solving and bigger issues. It's not just about creating content. But also people that who are really invested in seeing a different type of narrative expressed, you know, to the mainstream. You know, I love what Donald Glover and his camp is doing. First time I saw Atlanta, I was just like, yo, this is next level. What Jordan Peele is doing with Lovecraft Country is just like next level, breaking these barriers of like, black folks on the screen. Even Issa Rae, she, shouts out to her. She's our investor, and she truly believes in the product of what we're doing. So as team members and new folks who want to work at Blacktag, it's really about intention, man, and just making sure that you really want to work at a place where you believe in their value, but you also believe in the value as a Black person and where you're coming from, and you want to get your stories told and get to the forefront. And if you can help build a platform that's doing that, your story can be part of that solution as well.
Yeah. Phenomenal, man. Like seriously phenomenal stuff. I hope people
Yeah,
really take you up
and
on
I can send, I can spend actually a 3:30 I think was my cutoff, but yeah, man, I do apologize for being on a little bit late, man. It's my whole life is like 30-minute increments of like Zoom calls every day, bro. It's crazy.
No, I can imagine. I completely
Yeah,
understand. Like you guys are really trying to create something big, and that sort of bigness is going to take a lot of it, intensity and focus, and obviously a lot of strategizing and just getting everything in the proper synergy and alignment. So I fully get it, man. And the energy that you came on with, I see it now. The vision is very, very clear, and I only have a fraction of it, I'm sure. So the things
yeah,
that you guys are projecting out, not just for this year, but next year and the year after, and 5 years and 10 years, and it really does seem like you have that, at minimum, that 100, that 10-year vision, or if not a 20-year vision. And I just love to see this. I can't even really explain how much, because, even myself over the past recent years, it's been like a change of trying to go from not thinking in, month to month increments, or even year to year increments, but saying to myself, where do you want to be when you're, 10 years from now, 20 years from now? Because, I think, Bill Gates, just to give him a little bit of shine, or whoever the hell it was, I think it was him, he had a great quote, which I do love. People overestimate what they can do in a year, but underestimate what they can do in 10. And I just think that's a beautiful way that we all, particularly are part of in our communities, need to start thinking, like, what can we build now that's going to be, what seed can we plant now that's going to be a tree in 10 years, or a tree in 100 years? And what are we truly trying to, give back and see flourish in the future? And now is the time, because things are going extremely quickly. Investments are going in a way where we're going to have multi-trillionaires without it in a decade or two. And if we're not a part of that, that sort of growth, we can't be looking at $15 minimum wage and being like, oh, that's going to be the future for me. That's going to get me out of poverty. It will for some, but we need to make sure that whatever money that we're getting, we're investing in bigger systems. whether that's a Blacktag, whether that's, there's YouTube millionaires, there's YouTube decamillionaires, and I hope to
Yeah.
God that, Blacktag is a place that creates millionaires and decamillionaires and 100 millionaires, centimillionaires and billionaires as well, not just from you guys,
Yeah,
but,
yeah, yeah,
for the
yeah,
creators
yeah,
on the
yeah.
platform. And that's what we need. We need our Uber, and this is what this is. And you're tapping into our, one of our many highest, strongest source materials is, Black and creative folk across the diaspora. It's our art. It's the things that we create. It's the viralness of our culture and our way, the way that we move, our tone, our skin, our swag, our style. Like that's the shit that we have the most amount of equity, and of course we can do everything else, mathematics,
Yeah, of
astronauts,
course.
all that stuff. But it's like the stuff, the other things that go viral because we're so attached as a community and as a group is that culture. And the fact that you guys are building that platform for us to leverage it, so the next time someone says on fleek and they got a show, the on fleek is gonna go back to them. The next time somebody creates that dance for TikTok, that dance goes to them.
Yeah, man.
Uh,
Absolutely. Man, I can talk to you for days.
this is the first of many conversations. This is the first of many
I hope so.
conversations.
I
Um,
hope so. Joshua was not wrong. You were just like, man,
Nah, nah, nah. This is, and mind you, this is me being polite and and trying to be approachable. It gets a lot
yeah,
worse. It gets a lot deeper when I get excited. But this meet has been phenomenal. I've been, thank you
yeah,
for being so
man.
gracious with your time. This has been. I won't even lie when I say this. It's been better than I could even have imagined, but not unexpected, because everything's been consistent from what I've read, seen, and heard. And I just want to say, from my perspective, thank you. And thank you all, your team, Akin, like everyone. Thank you all for what you guys are building. We appreciate it, and I just hope to be a part of it in any way in the future. Honestly, I'm in love with what
Man,
you guys are doing.
absolutely. Thank you so
Seriously,
much, man.
any
Let's
way I can
definitely make
help,
that work. Yeah,
anything,
man.
anything.
Absolutely. What's your 6 month, 90, a year, 5 year plan, where you see
We're,
Cleon
we're,
Gray?
we're building we're building a show. I won't lie, you guys basically stole my idea. But no, but seriously, like I would say within the next year, I want to go back to having the show be a travel show. It was originally supposed to be like the Anthony Bourdain of art. And I was basically
Okay.
going to go around, go across the diaspora. This was like 2 years ago. We should have got this done, but delays, money, jobs, work, production teams.
Yeah.
Anthony and
Yeah.
I and Ashley were actually working on this in 2018. This exact show, but obviously in shorter form, clips wise. We were going around. We were going to talk to artists in different communities across, the U.S. and Jamaica and Africa, South. Just go all over. Wherever there's a vibe, wherever there's culture brewing, talk to a separate amount of artists across the whole entire ecosystem. Get a vibe for an area. Get the B-roll, the cutscenes, the food, et cetera, et cetera, and just turn each individual area into its own thing. So SHEREN Jamaica, SHEREN LA, SHEREN New York, SHEREN South Africa, SHEREN Lagos, SHEREN Accra, and just go on and go on and on. And then that was like I would say that's basically the one that depends on how long this stuff takes, but that's my 12 to 18 month plan. At least and this podcast now is an offshoot of that. So the longer form conversations that would happen from those conversations for the travel show would then be disseminated on YouTube. And then
Mhm.
after that, I wanted to build like a whole ecosystem of different people across their specific areas when it got big enough, maybe over a 5 year, 10 year plan, where you would have your own SHEREN in that location. You guys are already doing that with Blacktag, to be quite frank. But I'm still building. I believe in this
But
shit. I'm not.
let's talk about the show, bro. That's what we're
Yeah,
here to do, man. Let's talk about getting it off the ground.
I want to do.
Let
Like
us
we
know
already got
whatever
a
you need.
pilot. I want to do this.
Yeah, I want to see the pilot, man. I want to see the pilot. Let's get it off the ground. Let's see if we can get it onto the Black Tag platform for May.
Yeah. Okay. Let me be very clear. I have the content for a pilot that we have to get edited. Anthony just sent me the footage from 2 years ago, a couple of weeks ago. I got to get it edited,
But
we can get it edited.
I do think the
We got the
concept is
content.
dope. I mean, like Anthony Bourdain and Black Art, like
Yeah,
that's
basically.
something that needs to live. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love it. I love it.
No, for real. Like it's not food,
It's
it's art. We need to.
definitely in line. It's definitely in line with all the stuff that we're working on in
That's what I
house
mean.
now as originals.
We're gonna make it.
Yeah.
We're gonna make it happen. Trust me. All I've been trying to do is get these conversations done in such a way where there's enough of a spark starting. But this is going to be a travel show in short order. Once this thing opens back up, we're on the road, and I just want to get my team together, get my editor, get my camera person. We'll keep it lo-fi for as long as we have to. But I
Yeah.
want glitz glamour. I want 45 minutes to an hour. I want a series of 10 parts. No reservations, parts unknown. I want to make it happen. I'm sorry, it will happen.
It will happen.
So there we go.
As it should. As it
That's
should.
it.
As
So
it
yeah,
should.
I know you
All
have a
right,
call
brother.
in 2 minutes, but I just want to say thank you again. We'll talk soon. We will be in touch.
Thank you, man. Thank you, and whoever watches this, thank you for clicking on it or watching it, and
Absolutely.
listening to two Black brothers expressing themselves and trying to be trying to put something out to the world
And
with intention.
And I just got to say, as the closing remark, thank you everybody for watching as well. But, the evidence of everything that we're seeing right now is something I've been saying to myself for a very long time, but this is very true. It's not in the dreaming, it's in the doing.
Yeah.
We can't just be dreamers, we can't just be talkers, we have to be people that do things and get things done. It's about execution. The reason why these other people that we look at who have these businesses, these multi-billion-dollar, trillion-dollar companies, is because someone got their ass up. Instead of talking about something, they did something. And we got to be about that. We got to be about that doing. Period.
And all right, Cleon Gray, baby, let's go.
All right, we out. Love, B. Thank you guys. Peace.
Love it. Yeah, no problem. Peace, man. Yeah.
Bye.